If you try to survive a full college course load using nothing but willpower and caffeine, your schedule will eventually shatter. But true time management requires precision engineering. Instead of relying on sheer effort, we are going to build a concrete, color-coded weekly blueprint. By the end of this process, you will have a mathematically precise map that guarantees time for your classes, your job, and your social life. To build this system, you need 3 things in front of you right now. Grab your course syllabus, your upcoming work schedule, and a blank weekly calendar grid. Everyone gets exactly 168 hours a week. Visualizing this time as a strictly limited bank allows you to stop reacting to deadlines and start proactively architecting a sustainable week. Step 1 is calculating your true academic workload. Most students fall into the in-class fallacy. They only block out the hours they physically sit in a lecture hall. But that completely ignores the reading, writing, and review required to actually pass. This graphic breaks down exactly how to calculate those hours. For a standard humanities class, multiply your credits by 2.5. For STEM courses, which require heavy problem-solving and lab work, multiply by 3.5. For online courses without physical lectures, multiply your credits by 5.0. Add all those up. This creates a 30 to 45-hour weekly academic commitment. That entire block of time must be immediately deducted from your 168-hour time bank. By quantifying these invisible out-of-class hours right at the start, you build a realistic baseline. This single calculation prevents the impossible backlog of work that forces late-term all-nighters. Now we anchor the foundation. Before scheduling a single study session, you must lock in your fixed essentials. These are your biological requirements: 8 hours of sleep per night, 3 30-minute meal breaks each day, and 30 minutes of physical activity. Look at this calendar grid. When you schedule these biological non-negotiables, they consume exactly 70 hours. That is nearly half of your entire week, gone before you even open a textbook. Warning tone. When schedules get tight, the first instinct is to delete a sleep block to squeeze in extra study time. Do not do this. Sleep deprivation destroys memory consolidation and critical thinking, making those extra hours of study completely useless. These 10 daily hours represent the mandatory biological investment required to sustain cognitive focus for the remainder of the week. Next, look at the grid and lock in the commitments you cannot move. Drop in your lectures and work shifts. Immediately attach 15 to 30-minute buffer blocks around each of those commitments. This accounts for the physical commute time to walk across campus or drive to work. If you are scheduling part-time work, you need to be aware of the 20-hour tipping point. Institutional data shows a sharp negative correlation between excessive work hours and academic success. Students who work more than 20 hours a week are significantly less likely to graduate within 6 years and carry a drastically higher risk of dropping out entirely. Now, take that 30 to 45-hour academic commitment you calculated earlier and distribute those study blocks into the remaining empty gaps on your calendar. When you fill these slots, use descriptive titles. Do not just write study. Label a block deep work study for writing papers or active review for going over flashcards. This specifies the exact mental effort required. By strategically wrapping your specific academic tasks around your physical location and hard constraints, you completely eliminate schedule overlap and remove the daily decision fatigue of trying to figure out what to do next. At this stage, you might think you have a perfect plan. But that relies on the planning fallacy, the cognitive bias where humans assume every scheduled task will be completed exactly on time, without interruptions. To counter this, you must build systemic safeguards into the schedule. Insert 2 90-minute contingency blocks into the grid, one midweek and one on the weekend. These blocks act as shock absorbers for project overflow. If a reading assignment takes an hour longer than expected, it spills into the contingency block, preventing a single delay from destroying your entire weekly architecture. You also need to schedule a strict 1-hour weekly review block on Sunday evening. Use this time to evaluate what worked, what failed, and to adapt the blueprint for the week ahead. Finally, flood all remaining empty space on the calendar with personal, social, and hobby time. Make these blocks explicit and non-negotiable. Deliberately scheduling your downtime grants you the psychological permission to fully disengage from academics. That complete rest is exactly what makes your heavy work block so effective. You have just taken an abstract, overwhelming list of academic anxieties and converted it into a concrete, mathematically sound visual blueprint. The ultimate test of this schedule is clarity. You should be able to look at the grid and see distinct, non-overlapping boundaries between when it is time to work, when it is time to rest, and when it is time to socialize. Your only immediate next step is to execute the grid exactly as written until you reach your Sunday review block. Then you simply adjust the timings based on the reality of how the week actually went. Mastering this 168-hour system builds an internal locus of control where you proactively architect your own life and outcomes.